Hello and welcome to TAL Radio. At TAL, we connect those who are willing to give to those who are in need. And as I always say, giving is not an easy thing. My dear listeners and my lovely audience, you're listening and watching to a very beautiful series, which is self coaching. And as usual, I have Andrew Tallents with me on this very wonderful episode, in which we would be talking about it might sound very philosophical, but it's very true. Why am I here? What's the purpose? In fact, finding the purpose in your leadership and in your life. Andrew, welcome to Tal Radio.
Thanks, Sandy. It's great to be with you again.
Awesome. Thanks a lot for your time, and it's always a pleasure to see you. Lovely. So, talking about why am I here? Do you really feel people really ask, this question to themselves ever? Do they really try to
Uh,
find a purpose?
yeah, no, it's a great question. And I think the time that we ask it ourselves in life generally is when something quite bad happens to us. So it might be a breakdown in a relationship, it might be poor health, it might be that we lose our job, or so we almost get off the train because we have to, we're forced to. We've been on this train where it's been just moving along all the time without us thinking. And then suddenly we have time to think and we ask that question, what am I doing? Why am I here? Has the last 3 years been serving why I'm here? And we tend to have that reset. But if we don't have those events, we just tend to carry on and not asking that question generally.
So, when you talk about, probably the time of despair that we really try to find our purpose. So, when we talk about purpose, so do we find it like accidentally? We just stumble upon it, or do we create it ourselves?
Another great question. And I think we can look at this in two ways. I believe there is research to support this now globally, that you and I and everyone listening to this around the world has a purpose when they're born. So we have a gift, we have a purpose that we're on this planet for, and then we're born, and then we grow up in an environment which is either good for us or maybe difficult for us. And over time, we sometimes lose a sense of purpose. But what I can tell you is, you can probably remember this as well. When we're children, we dream. We dream of what it is we might do. We look at role models around us. And in a way, that's linked to our purpose. So I think we always have it, but I think we forget it and I think we lose it. And I think what many people do out there is try and rediscover it at certain times of their lives, but it's always there. And that's partly what I do through my job in terms of as a coach. I help people who've lost their way and feel they may be at a crossroads in life just to rediscover that purpose and that it's always been there.
Awesome. So, you're that amazing, not just a self coaching expert, but certainly a guide also. Great to know that. And on that note, I was really wondering, when I was going through this beautiful topic, why am I here? And, related to purpose, especially, is there a difference between purpose and goal? Or are they same? How would
It's
you
a great,
define that?
yeah, it's really clear. So I think the best way to think about purpose, if we think about compass, so if we think about a compass and we're heading in a direction of north, because that's where we want to go in life. So that's our overriding way that we decide whether we're on the right path or not. And obviously, if we're going north and we are going forward, that's the direction we want to go in life. There are various goals that we have to achieve to keep moving forward. Sometimes obstacles come in the way of those goals. So that's the difference for me. The purpose is always there, and it's something we're always working towards living. And yet, to do that, there are certain goals, certain milestones that we need to do each day, each week, each month, each year to keep us on track to that true north.
Okay, so like if what I am understanding as now is like purpose is technically the destination, and the
Hmm.
goals are, the small steps, the baby step that we
Correct.
take to reach that beautiful destination.
And we need both, so we can't just have goals in life because we're not sure where we're going. And we can't just have purpose in life because then it's just a dream. So we do need both.
All right. So when we talk about purpose, we certainly talk about leaderships also here because I think leaders are the people who really have very big purposes in life. And they are certainly very much related to success also because that's how they become leaders because they've been successful in their lives and whatever they do. And you've been around so many leaders, to talk about. So how would you differentiate between success and purpose-driven leadership?
Yeah, so I think the best way to think about this is success is measured in terms of outcomes. So it might be money, it might be financial goals in a business, it might be number of customers, it might be the way that a business grows in terms of profitability. So they're all areas that we can look at success. And in a way, there are no feelings attached to those. They're outcomes. So the difference between success and purpose-driven leadership is the way it feels to be successful. So if I've achieved all of those numbers and all of those different KPIs, how has it felt in me doing that? Has it felt aligned in terms of me living my purpose into true north? Or to achieve all that success, have I had to deviate east, west, south, it feeling a bit uncomfortable for me? It didn't feel as though the way I achieved those things was in line with my purpose in life. So that's the difference. We can be very successful in life, but it's the way that it feels for us is whether we're fulfilling our purpose.
So when we talk about leaders, we talk about purpose, we talk about the teams, and we certainly talk about, aligning the team's goal, the team's purpose with the leader's goal. Do you think it happens other way around also sometime in corporates?
Yes, I think it does. And again, it depends on the culture in the organization. So if we have cultures within an organization where there's very much an authoritative type culture where people are used to be told what to do, then usually the company's purpose takes precedent and people need to fit in around that. If we've got more modern cultures where actually we're allowing it come from the bottom up, where we actually discover, particularly with young people, what it is that is important to them. What is it they're here to do in life? What is it they want to achieve? What they want to be in service of? And we understand the collective of those people in organization that can then help build the wider company purpose and the leadership purpose. So it really depends on either. I prefer the latter way to be able to get it from individuals because there's more buy-in and engagement, as opposed to the telling way where it feels a bit more like school and we need to do these things. But there's certainly less commitment to them if that's the approach that the organization takes.
And I might be deviating a little bit from the
Mm,
topic, but I would really like to know when you have the later one, like, when you have the individual deciding the purpose
mm,
and you let the leaders and everybody, the company align with their
yeah.
purpose, does it even lead to like better retention of employees? Like, it's like they feel they're heard here, maybe?
Absolutely. So they feel heard, but they can also feel in every day that the work they do, in the way they do it, fills their purpose. And it also then manifests in the way that the company achieves its goals. So, as long as the company listens, as long as the company creates processes and outcomes and goals that are aligned to the individuals, and then everyone collectively, not only does it improve retention, but it means the customers receive better service and profitability usually improves. So, there's a massive alignment and connection if that can happen.
Like a happy family.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So moving on, could you just describe a couple of maybe, a few practical steps that leaders can actually take to create a purpose-driven culture in an organization?
Yeah, sure. So the thing to do first is to really consult with your customers and your key stakeholders as a leader. So forget the internal business for the moment. Find out. So, for example, if I'm providing water services to Africa in terms of provision of water, in terms of humanitarian provision, then what is it that those people in that country really need from us in the way the water is provided, why it makes a difference, and understanding that enables us to start working out what the purpose of the organization is. So that's the first place, not what do we stand for, what do our customers need. So once we understand that, it means then we can then start to understand the organizational talent that we have and what their